hours in the southwest. That rain then moves its way through the Midlands, across the southeast into Lincolnshire. The worst of that rain should be out into the North Sea by the end of the night, and many places do become dry with some breaks in the cloud. We've got southwesterly winds. That's why it's so mild today, and why it's so mild overnight. 6 degrees or so in the north, lows around 10 or so in the south. A bit of rain to clear away from northern parts of England, southern Scotland, and then it's going to be a case of sunny spells, but also some showers. These will develop more widely and through the Midlands, eastern parts of England. There could be some hail and thunder in there from the early part of the afternoon. It's going to be a warmer day, though, in Scotland than it was today. Could make 16 degrees in Aberdeen and across central and eastern parts of England. If you miss those showers, temperatures could reach 16 or 17 degrees. But we've got this, an area of low pressure. That's going to bring some wet and windy weather after dark, overnight and into Friday. Strongest winds across northern parts of France. But through the Channel, along the south coast of England and South Wales, the winds could be gusting 50, 60 miles an hour overnight and into the early part of Friday morning before the winds ease down. Wet weather overnight, that becomes more patchy and more showery. Further north, we'll see some sunshine perhaps, but also a few showers as well. Still very unsettled. And those temperatures are going to be lower, so we're looking at typically 11 to 13 degrees by Friday. And heading into the weekend then, those temperatures continue to just drop away a little bit, but it should be turning much drier. Sophie.
Darren, thank you. And that is it from us on the BBC News at 6. It's time now for the news where you are. Goodbye.
Sophie, thank you very much indeed. Hello, good evening. Thank you for joining us and welcome to Look North. Now, coming up on the programme tonight, the government confirms asylum seekers will be housed at a former RAF station in Lincolnshire, despite local opposition.
This thoroughly bad decision, which is not based on good governance, but the politics of trying to do something.
Well, ministers say it's better and much cheaper for asylum seekers to be housed at RAF Scampton than in hotels. Well, do you agree? Is this the way forward? Or does it put plans for a heritage centre on the site at risk? Get in touch with your views on this one tonight. Now we know for sure. The email address is there. Or follow me on Twitter, Peter_Levy tweet. Now we'll have some later in the programme. All of the day's news, of course, as usual, including a Hull food hall which created hundreds of jobs, closes its doors for good.
I love the theatre, but I never go late.
And tributes are paid following the death of presenter and entertainer Paul O'Grady. I'll be speaking to someone who met him as a guest on one of his programmes. Paul, good evening to you.
Yes, good evening. It stays unsettled, potentially some heavy rain, especially across Lincolnshire tonight. Join me for the very latest.
It's been the worst kept secret in politics, but today the government finally confirmed that the former RAF base at Scampton in Lincolnshire will be used to house migrants. The plan should see some asylum seekers moved out of hotels and into temporary buildings on the base. Up to 2,000 men will be living there in the coming months. It is the government's latest attempt to deal with the migrant crisis. Figures from the Refugee Council show that there are currently 160,000 people waiting for a decision on their asylum applications, and all of them need somewhere to live. Some of those people have been waiting for more than 3 years for their applications to be processed. And in January this year alone, the Home Office says that more than 1,000 more migrants arrived illegally in small boats across the English Channel. Well, everyone agrees that action is needed, but there's very little agreement about what that should be. And today's announcement has been met with an angry response. Here's our political editor, Tim Ardell.
The government will use military sites in Essex and Lincolnshire